double your money every 7 to 8 years, conservatively. In this educational episode, I'm going to address how to turn, let's say, $125,000 without adding another dollar into $2 million. How would you like to set aside $125,000 and wake up 30 years later and have $2 million tax-free? So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for nearly 5 decades. I'm 70 years old. I started in 1974, and I've helped a lot of people accumulate wealth and prepare for long-term goals such as a comfortable retirement where they will not outlive their money. It's amazing how many people do not understand marvels or miracles of wealth accumulation that Albert Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world. That's compound interest. But see, it was Rothschild that said, no, the eighth wonder of the world is not compound interest by itself. It's compounding tax-free. Okay. And so the third marvel or miracle is what I call safe positive leverage, the ability to own and control assets with very little or none of your money tied up at risk in that asset. This particular episode, I want to simply address the question, how do I turn, let's say, $125,000 into $2 million tax-free, let's say doubling my money every 7 or 8 years. Okay, let's talk about simple rule of 72 math so that you can understand how to calculate what compounding does. See, rule of 72 usually means that people will think, okay, if I can earn 5% on this investment, 5 into 72 means my money is going to double every 14.4 years. If I earn 10% divided into 72, my money is going to double every 7.2 years. 7.2%, it doubles every 10 years. Do you get it? It'll also help you understand the compounded equivalent. If you bought a piece of property for $100,000 and you sold it for double $200,000, that doesn't impress me. Oh, I doubled my money until I know what? Well, how long did you hold on to that? Oh, 10 years. 10 years into 72 means I earned the equivalent of 7.2% interest compounded annually. Does that make sense? So let's get back to my average rate of return. My favorite vehicle to accumulate money tax-free, access the money tax-free whenever I want. I don't have to wait till after I'm 59 and a half. And at the end of the day, when I die, anything I leave behind blossoms and transfers income tax-free is a max-funded indexed universal life insurance contract. Structured correctly and funded properly, it is deemed a Laserfund. And when you do it correctly and you diversify and you rebalance or reallocate annually, you take your rate of return on an IUL from just, like a 6, 7, or 8% rate of return up to a 10, 11, 12, or 13% rate of return. I have averaged since 1997 when indexed universal life first came out, I have averaged 11.17 gross, and I have netted cash on cash, retroactive back to day one, 10.07. So I'm actually netting over 10% rate of return after all costs and fees in the insurance policy. Now, I explain how you do that by structuring it correctly and funding it properly. If you don't do this, you may only earn 7 and you might only net 4 if somebody set up an IUL policy and they didn't know what they were doing. That's why I have a coalition that I formed where I train over 5,000 agents how to do it correctly. It's called IUL Insiders, because unfortunately about 99% of agents who sell IUL don't know how to do this right. If you want to know how to do it right and be able to earn the highest rate of return and net within 1% of the gross rate of return, then you need to understand how to turn the money into doubling at least every 7.5 years. So ever since 1980, when Universal Life came out, and then it took 17 years when interest rates started to come down, the Index Universal Life came out, I have earned an average of 9.62%. So let's round that down to 9.6. 9.62 divided into 72 means your money will double every 7.5 years. So it's just simple math. If you started out with a one-time investment, let's say of $125,000, and you fell asleep like Rip Van Winkle and you wake up 30 years later, what did my 125,000 in my IUL turn into? Oh, 2 million. Tax-free. How did that happen? Compound interest, tax-free. The first 7.5 years, the 125,000 doubled to 250. The next 7.5 years, 250 doubled to 500. The next 7.5 years, 500 doubled to $1 million. And that's the 22nd and a half year. And the last 7.5 years, the 2 million doubled to, the million doubled to 2 million. It's just compound interest, tax-free. This is the magic behind IUL. How to be able to double your money every 7 or 8 years conservatively. I've had clients who started out with 500,000 and it doubled to $1 million in 7.5 years, to 2 million and then 4 million and then 8 million. Yep, we've got clients with $8 million and it's earning between 8 to 10%. They are getting growth of 600 to 800,000 a year. One couple in particular, where did they come up with the money? Well, they didn't sit there and start out with 500,000. They actually put in 4 million over a 4-year period to end up with 8 million because they doubled it in 7.5 years. Where was the 4 million? Well, they had 6 million and they're yet to be taxed IRAs or 401ks. I said, get it out of the market. You don't want to be in the volatile market. And they didn't want to be in the volatile market. They were nervous and they wanted to get the taxes over and done with sooner than later because they understood that their current tax bracket was likely the lowest bracket they would ever be in. So in 5 years, we did a strategic rollout. We got the 6 million out of their IRAs or 401ks. They sort of bit the bullet and paid 2 million in tax, but they were glad they got it over and done with. The government was glad they got a $2 million tax revenue windfall off of that couple. But now, from now on, they're in a 0% tax bracket. We took them from the highest tax bracket to a 0. So they ended up with a net of 4 million after tax going into their IUL policies. And it doubled from 4 million to 8 million in 7.5 years. And then they said, okay, I think we'll take out some money. But they were in a 0% tax bracket. They only needed 300,000 a year to live on, but the IRS knows they're receiving it. But that 300 grand is nowhere on their 1040 tax return because there is nowhere to put tax-free income on a tax return. The IRS knows they're getting it, but it's tax-free. They're actually earning 600 to 800,000, more than double what they're taking out. So they're way ahead of inflation. This is what I'm talking about. So how can you turn, 125 grand? How can you double it 4 times in 30 years? Just earn an average of, 9.6% by utilizing my favorite financial vehicle, a Laserfund, but it must be structured correctly and funded properly. So if you want to learn how to do that right, I would recommend you study my best-selling book, The Laserfund. It's my 11th book. It's been flying off of our warehouse shelves. We send out over 1,000 of these, sometimes weekly. Now, this is a 300-page book that's actually 2 books in one. This side is for the left brain learner. It's about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all of the charts and graphs and explanations. If you're more of a right brain learner, you flip it over to this book. This is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories. If you want to use your, left brain, right brain, you can read both books. But if you go to Amazon, they're $20 plus shipping and handling. If you do that, thank you. But you don't need to pay for the book. I'll gift you a copy free. You simply go to laserfund.com or click on the link below. And you go in, you'll contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. Come on, I require some skin in the game, but I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. And while you're in there, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, there's audio and video formats available. Check out some of the educational webinars that are free. We teach on a regular basis. You can even schedule an appointment to meet with an IUL specialist at no cost or obligation to see how a properly structured IUL can benefit you. Because unfortunately, over 99% of agents who sell IUL do not know how to structure it to do what I'm talking about here, to be able to double your money, at least every 7 to 8 years. Don't make the mistake, or it may take you 15 years to double your money if it's structured the wrong way.